This video is brought to you by Anti-Gravity Lithium-Ion Batteries, used by Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha and Monster Energy Kawasaki and many more teams. And you can use the same battery as Eli Tomac, Jason Anderson, and others. Anti-Gravity batteries offer more power and capacity than the competitors because they give you a larger lithium battery pack. But additionally, they offer features like the world's first batteries with built-in jump starting that will never leave you stranded. So check them out at antigravitybatteries.com.
2023 KTM 300 SX. Welcome everybody to RacerXOnline.com. I will be honest with you guys. You guys heard me say this before. I am not a two-stroke guy, so all you guys over there in the comment section, just go ahead and hate away. I'll drink it in. It's okay. But I will say this. I've had a little bit of time on the new 300 SX fuel injected. That's right, not direct inject. Fuel injected bike when we went to Redbud earlier this summer. Very fun bike. It made me like two strokes a lot more. So here we are, windy day in California, Cahuilla Creek MX Park. We're going to break this thing down. I got my guy Eddie Laret. He is a bigger 220-pound rider. We're going to see what it's like to ride a 300 two-stroke that has a four-stroke sole. We're going to get you some settings, what it's like to ride. We brought our 450 to compare it to. So let's really break this big bore two-stroke down. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Enjoy the awesome clips of me and my buddy riding. Be right back. All right, guys, we just wrapped up here at Cahuilla Creek. The wind has actually died down a little bit. The 2023 KTM 300 SX fuel-injected electric start two-stroke. One word. And we could just stop the video right now and just be like, all right, it's fun. See you guys later on the next go-around. But we're not. We're going to break it down a little bit and tell you why it's fun. I am not a two-stroke guy, and I'll tell you why. I feel like as I got older, I've been spoiled by four strokes for so long that it's easy to ride. I can be lazy, I have fun, I can clear jumps, and I really haven't found a two-stroke that gives me that I can be lazy, keep my style that I have now, ride how I know I can ride on a two-stroke, but it's tough, right? So I rode this at Redbud. I got a little bit excited. If you go back to that video, you can see that. So when I got this bike last week, I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to ride it on some of these tracks that I know. So today, as soon as I got on it, right away, it feels like a four-stroke. Top of the show, I said it has a four-stroke sole. And what that means is you can actually lug it. It prefers, for me, and I'll talk to Eddie here in a second, I like to run third gear on this bike. Sure, I got to cover the clutch a little bit and fan it, but second gear spools up really quick and then I have to shift to third anyway, so I just leave it in third. So I would actually go up a tooth or two on the rear here and then just run this sucker in third. It doesn't have that YZ250 but it's not like a direct inject where it's real lazy and smooth. It has snap. It just has a lot of rear wheel traction. So the engine, although not as exciting as a YZ250, has more traction and I can ride it lazier, if that's a word. I can be lazier on this bike than I can the YZ250. Eddie, 220 pounds. You're coming in at 220?
230.
230? Four-stroke. You rode, well, we were going to say you raced the 350 at Vet Nationals, but we don't want to get into that. But you were supposed to race the 350 at the Vet Nationals. You're a bigger rider. You don't ride two strokes. Give the people out there some knowledge on what it's like.
Yeah, I was kind of, open-minded when I got on it because I didn't know if I was going to like it, not like it. Like Kris said, it's been so long since we rode two strokes on tracks like this. So, you know, Kuya was, it was good today. Like, they didn't groom it. They left it from the previous day. A little bit of water, so the track had some chops, some ruts and stuff.
Thank you to Swap Moto for allowing us to come here and poach his shootout, by the way.
Yeah, that was done for sure. But, man, it's really good. Like Kris said, it's super fun. It's got a good linear power. It's not an explosive power, but I can tell you at a flick of the clutch, you could have that explosive power if you want it. So the power on this bike is like 450-ish. Like, it has that feel of like you could like lug it around and then set up to hit something out of a corner, and it's just, the power's right there. So, yeah, I mean, man, I felt like I could ride out there for days on it, and Kris knows I get a bad arm pump and stuff, and I was just cutting laps. I forgot the suspension was super soft, and, you know, the bike's brand new. I mean, it has no time on it whatsoever, and I was just having a field day on it. So I think it's an awesome, I don't even want to call it a play bike, because it's not. It's something that someone of my age that doesn't want to race, but just wants to go to the track and ride and have fun, mix some gas and smell that two-stroke again. This would be the bike I would buy for sure.
I told Eddie this. He's like, oh, you're going to race two-stroke national? And I go, no. And I go, well, why don't you want to do that? I'm like, it's just not fun for me. So this actually makes me want to go race a two-stroke race, just because it's so fun to ride and I can ride it like a four-stroke. You can be lazy. That's not really how two-strokes work. You don't be lazy. You got to be aggressive. You got to be on top of it. That's one of the reasons why I don't like them as much. But this thing right here, you can be aggressive, you can be lazy. It opens that window up for you. So for me, chassis-wide stability, good. It's in the middle of the road. It's not twitchy. It's not rigid. Definitely doesn't feel as rigid as a 450 SXF.
No, like, because we compared this today to our 450.
Yeah.
And there's one section going up where it kind of switchbacks, and it's pretty choppy. And like the 450, when I rode it earlier, I was like, oh my God, my teeth are going to fall out again.
Yeah.
And then I rode this, and I was like, no, it's not. And it's only going to get better, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this thing we maybe put, an hour and a half on it today, if that. So it's only going to continue to get more comfortable as we ride it.
Unlike older KTM two-strokes, those things vibrated like a son of a mother, right? So this doesn't. This bike doesn't vibrate through the handlebars. I do feel some more flex. I like that. I like that it feels light. Obviously, you can whip it into corners. You could turn down off of a blown-out berm, and there's a lot of those here at Kahia today. You can throw it off of a jump really easy. It's confidence-inspiring. It has enough engine to jump the bigger jumps today. Obviously, Kahia Creek is a faster, flowier, sandier type of facility, but I'm telling you guys right now, as a message to everybody out there, if I'm not a two-stroke lover and I say I like a two-stroke, then it has to be somewhat good. And this thing is very fun to ride. Suspension settings real quick. They say 10.5 for the AER fork. Look, as you guys know, I'm not a huge air fork guy. Didn't feel horrible, although it's not too rough today. But for some reason, the air fork on the two-stroke feels different than on the four-stroke.
Yeah,
I feel
100%.
like it's less harsh. It's freer feeling, so maybe it's the weight, maybe it's the inertia of the two-stroke. For whatever reason, I don't have as much complaints with AER fork on a two-stroke. So I went to 10.7 bar. We left the compression and the clickers alone. We set the sag to 105 and had a smile on our faces. It was fun. Spencer behind the camera usually goes, are we done? And usually I go, two strokes. Usually I go, yeah, we're done. Let's do some videos. Today, I wanted to go an extra few laps. So I'm going to take this home, ride it at some tracks in the Des, especially after rain. Oh my gosh.
This is going to be so fun.
I'm not going to answer my phone for at least 24 hours after rain in the high Des with this thing. So there is map switches on a two-stroke. Wow. White map, green map. The white map, I was on that first part of the day, and I was like, man, it's loading up. Usually on a two-stroke, part of the fun is right before you get on the ground, that crisp feeling. It didn't really have that. It had like a rich blah, 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 and then once I landed, it cleaned out and got crisp. So I went from the white map to the green map. It helped out a little bit. I think it's still a little rich feeling. I would like to maybe try either race fuel or some kind of different muffler. From what I can tell, we can't map it ourselves. It's a closed map, so they don't sell a box or something that, hey, me and you can go create our own maps. We can't do that yet with this bike. But the white map only opens the power valve 80%. The green map opens it up all the way. So if you guys want a little bit mellower power, the white map's for you. You want a little bit more of a crisper sounding bike, a little bit leaner feel, a little bit more power down low, that green map is where it's at. Did you try both?
Yeah, I did. I actually went back to the white map, but I think another reason too we kind of struggled on the white map is we're at elevation today.
Yeah.
So
we're at 3,300 feet.
Yeah, 3,300 feet. But it is cold today, so two-stroke-ish, you should get that crisp feel. But yeah, for sure, right now, it's where we're at in our track situation, it's definitely a green map. The white map was a little, like we had a couple things where you would kind of manual and then double down the hill, and it kind of would load up and give you that kind of unsure feeling of what was going to happen. So when we went to the green map, I mean, it was, even sitting on the hillside watching you ride, I mean, it just...
Sounds good, right?
Brings back, old J-Mac days, the Supercross, just hearing those bikes bark. So
it's funny because I talked to a couple of people off the track today, and they're like, dude, that bike sounds so good. And you don't really realize it, right? Because it doesn't have a shorty muffler or something like that, but it sounds really nice in the helmet. So, again, it's a two-stroke. Still likes to be ridden on the upper RPM ranges, but you have some freedom down low to be a little bit lazy, right? Third gear. So it is a vet-friendly machine, I feel like, and I understand why some of you guys come from a 450, want to have a 300 now. I get it. I'm on board. I'm going to join your band. I understand it. So, real quick, shifter, Edward.
Yeah, I don't know if that maybe something that when they were building them, put them together. I mean, this thing should come out of the crate with the shifter placed. But we were riding the 450, and I'm like, man, the 350, I kept hitting a couple false neutrals, and I'm like, I don't get it. I looked at the shifter replacement, and it was one tooth lower than where our 450 is, and our 450 stock. So I don't know if, just keep an eye on it when you guys get your bikes, use a T-handle or a screwdriver, go flat across the top of the peg, and you basically want it to sit level on top of the shifter. That's a great rule of thumb for any motorcycle for a good, comfortable
neutral
feel.
Position.
Yeah, so you're not reaching too high or too low, because when I rode it early on, it was like...
I'm a size 10 boot. You're like a size 18. What are you?
12.
12. Same thing. Huge. So yeah, that's just something to be noticed. They might come down a spline down compared to a 450, so you might want to bring one spline up. That'll help. Overall, again, I'm going to use the word fun. Very fun bike for me to ride. Ergonomically, you sit on top of the bike, feels like a 450. Don't get hung up on the shrouds. Again, no real hard complaints besides maybe a little bit of a rich feeling. And love Brembo brakes. Hydraulic clutch is nice. Dunlop 33 tires. If it was my bike, which it might be, hopefully KTM sells me one of these things, I wouldn't mind having one, I would try to put on a pipe and a silencer to see if it cleans that up. Try a little bit of race gas, maybe 50-50, maybe some T2. C12 guys out there, VP C12, I've tried it lately. It's hard to jet, and so with this thing, I don't know how it will react. So I like VP T2. It's pre-mixed at 40-1. KTM recommends this thing to be at 60-1. So that's what we mixed our regular 91 octane fuel with today. But we'll try to experiment a little bit more with this. You can go to KeeferIncTesting.com and get some more testing background, some things that I'll put on this, and I'll get you some more suspension settings, some clicker settings as this thing evolves. And of course, we're going to do pipe tests and do some more things with this because I feel like this is going to be a very popular machine for everybody in 2023. Ask your wife, what do you want for Christmas? Get her what she wants. What do you want for Christmas? I want a KTM 300 because it's fun. Eddie, would you have one of these things?
Oh, yeah.
You would?
Oh, for sure.
But you ain't racing anyway. So.
Yeah, no, this would be, like I said, this would be the ultimate bike for what we do. When we want to go ride the hills in the Des after a good rain, like this bike is the ultimate bike.
And it's even better when you can beat your buddy on a two-stroke and he has a brand new 450 with all the cool stuff on it and just smoke his ass. That's a great feeling because you're not supposed to beat your buddy on a 450 from a two-stroke. Right. So just give him that rev as you go by.
He'll hear you coming for sure.
Oh, yeah. I was revving it today. Yeah. Any more questions about this bike? Kris at KeeferIncTesting.com. My door is open for you guys out there. Of course, RacerXOnline.com for more videos to come. Subscribe to the magazine. Davey loves it. Davey writes articles. Mathis writes articles. Lots of fun stuff within the magazine. Get a free calendar. I just got mine yesterday. It's not Diana Dahlgren, but it's dirt bike, so that's fine. It's okay. I like that too. 12 issues, $30, free calendar. And don't forget, always come back here to racerxonline.com for more fun tests that we do here. See you on the next go-around. Happy holidays.